I'm Molly Schwartzburg from Houghton Library, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how to use Megill Spring Tongue gauge pins. First, I'm going to show you how to do this on a piece of paper because it's a lot easier for me to show you the details without trying to reach my hand inside of the press. So here's my tympan, and on my tympan, I've made a line, basically, with pencil where I want the base of my paper to rest when I'm printing. Below that line, I'm going to decide where I want my gauge pins, and I want to have them pretty far over on the two sides, and then I'll have one over here as well, but we'll focus on these because they're a little more difficult to do. And first, I'm going to make a mark where I want my gauge pin, 1/8 of an inch exactly below my line. Then you're going to take your gauge pin and hold it like this, and you have to lift your tympan a little bit and put some tension on it and punch a hole at your spot. You're then going to move the gauge pin in about, that's the full way, but I want to only move it in about halfway, and then I'm going to punch it back out. That's a little challenging to do, but it keeps it from sliding back and forth. And then I'm going to bring it down until it hits where it came in, and it will be at the exact perfect spot. Depending on what you're printing, you may want to move this tongue up like this. I find that for what we're doing, just printing simple cards, you don't really need to do that for it to stay in. And then once it's in the press, it will perfectly hold your sheet of paper where it needs to be. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like to install your gauge pin in the real world, because it looked really easy, but it's really much more challenging than that. I've got my line where the base of my print is going to be, and again, I'm going to use my ruler, and it's going to be really hard to do this. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to mark with my right hand, because I can't use my left here, where I want that to be. So I've got 1/8 of an inch down from my line. I'm going to make a nice firm pencil mark. Now, it's a little bit difficult to do this once your tympan is installed because you can't lift it to get that tension. So what I have found works for me, and experts might do it another way, is I'm gonna lift the bottom part of my tympan out here, which is in itself a little bit challenging. And I'm gonna hope that my packing doesn't move too much. There we go. And I'm gonna, whoops, I should have adjusted this gauge pin first. That's another thing I'm gonna show you. And I'm going to pull it out, keeping my packing pretty much where it is, but I'm not too worried about that. So I've got it lifted up here. So hope you can see this. I'm gonna hold the tympan. I'm gonna come around as comfortably as I can. Make sure I've got it going the right direction. I'm punching it in, laying it flat and pulling it down about halfway, just as I did before. And then I'm pushing up and pushing it back through. There we go. And if I did this correctly, which I think I did, when it comes down, it'll be exactly where it needs to be at my line. Now I need to get everything set back in again. The problem is it goes over where my tympan folds down. So what I need to do is just pull it back up enough that I can pop my tympan back in without bending the gauge pin. And someone else might have a better way to do this, but this is the best I've come up with. So I'm gonna pop this back in. Okay, yep, it looks like I'm just clearing it. And then I put my tympan back in place. If you've caused problems with your packing, you can always lift it from the top and fix that. there's one last step I need to perform. And with any tool you want, something not too intense, like I'm going to use this key, I'm just going to tap it a little bit or press it kind of hard until it pushes into my tympan. It's got these two little teeth that will push it in and allow it to adhere to the tympan to keep it even more stable than it would be otherwise. Oh, whoops, and I haven't gone back all the way down yet. That was an error. Now I can go down to where it's supposed to be, which takes me over the edge here, which is fine. I'm going to adjust my one that I already put in the same way. And now we have fully installed our fabulous gauge pins exactly where they need to be. I hope this video is of use to you as you get ready to use your clamshell press.